everyone, welcome back to Biophilia, your all-time study mate. This is going to be the continuation of chapter Animal Kingdom with the phylum Coelenterata. If you like our videos and want us to reach many more students out there, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our amazing channel and do hit the bell icon so you get notified for all the upcoming videos. So let's start about a very interesting phylum that is called as Coelenterata. So I do see a very cute little jellyfish GIF or ye GIF देख के I was very excited to share some knowledge about this phylum. So as I was excited to share this knowledge to you, you are also excited to grab this knowledge and absorb it just like sponges we did in the last class. So let's dive into the deep ocean of knowledge and learn about these amazing creatures that come under the phylum Coelenterata. So Coelenterata के जो organisms है उसको coelentrates या Cnidarians भी बोलते हैं. So here are some of the characteristics of Cnidarians. So first of all you should know that ये Cnidarians जिसके बारे में हम पढ़ रहे हैं वो कहाँ मिलेंगे. So what is their habitat? So first of all their habitat is going to be aquatic यानी वो पानी में मिलेंगे. But water can be two types, that is it can be marine or it can be fresh water. So majority of the Cnidarians are going to be marine or live in salty conditions, and some of the examples can also be found in the fresh water. अब ये जो Cnidarians होते हैं and these are going to be the members जिनको either अकेले रहना पसंद है, that is they can be solitary livers और they can be living in groups, जिनको ग्रुप्स में रहना, बहुत सारे दोस्तों के साथ खेलना कूदना अच्छा लगता है, that is these are colonial organisms. So solitary है जो अकेला रहना पसंद करता है, कोने में बैठा रहता है, that is the hydra. जबकि क्लास में सबसे ज़्यादा मस्ती करने वाला, सबके साथ घुल मिल जाने वाला, ग्रुप्स बना के रहने वाला is going to be nothing but Physalia, Gorgonia and Obelia. So in that way you can remember about solitary and colonial organisms. अब कुछ organisms है Cnidarian phylum में which are going to be sessile. Sessile है यानी it is going to be fixed at a substratum or you can say fixed at a base. तो अगर वो fixed at a base है यानी it is going to be non-motile, वो हिल नहीं सकता है, it is going to be attached or fixed to that particular place. So ऐसा example क्या है? It is going to be Hydra. और ऐसा ऑर्गेनिजम्स जो आराम से घूम फिर सकता है, जहाँ मन करे पानी में तैरते चला गया, फ्री स्विमिंग है, दैट इज Physalia and Aurelia. So these organisms, when you look at them closely, if you get a chance to visualize when you undergo for scuba diving, तो अगर scuba diving के टाइम अगर आपने इन्हें नोटिस किया हो या even if you must have seen photographs of these, then you know that these are going to be radially symmetric. So radially symmetric यानी उनका जो body symmetry है, if you want to cut them into some plane, तो they would have radial symmetry. Majority of them are going to be radially, but किसी में asymmetric भी हो सकते हैं. Next, tissue level of organization. So tissue level of organization, that means it is a bit more higher version than the cellular level. Cellular level जो था उसमें क्या था, cell aggregations थे and it was just the primitive start of division of labor. जबकि tissue level of organization में since tissue formation है, that means the cells which have similar function and structure, they are going to come together to form that tissue. So जो division of labor है वो बहुत ज़्यादा develop हो जाता है in the case of tissue level of organization. Then you come कि ये जो tissues है वो अपने आप को arrange करेंगे to form a blind sac. Blind sac का meaning क्या होता है? That means it is going to have one single opening which is going to function both as your mouth, which is intake of food, and as well as anus, which is exit or like वो बाहर निकालेगा सारा waste materials that needs to go out from the body. So one opening that acts as both mouth and anus. Next, it is going to be diploblastic, यानी सिर्फ 2 germ layers होंगे. And which 2 germ layers? First, that is endoderm, सबसे inner वाली dermis, and then is going to be your ectoderm, which is going to be the outer germ layer. Since it is having only 2 germ layers. सीलोम बनने का कोई चांस नहीं है because in the previous part of this chapter which will be provided in the link given below. तो अगर आपको ये नहीं पता है anything about this, you can go and surely check out the previous video. We will list it down in the description box. उसको click करके you can get directed towards the previous part of this, wherein you can understand all this basis of classification. उनका जो definition है या उनका classification है, you can have a better idea about them if you are not able to cope up with these. So उसमें हमने डिस्कस किया था अबाउट अ सीलोमेट. सो सीलोम अगर ट्रू सीलोम है, दैट मीन्स इट नीड्स टू बी कवर्ड बाय मीजोडर्म ऑन ऑल साइड्स. और यहाँ पे डिप्लोब्लास्टिक है, मीजोडर्म और हुआ ही नहीं है अभी तक ओरिजिन उसका. सो हाउ कैन द सीलोम बी फॉर्म? सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ सीलोमेट organism. So with this we complete the basic information about the Cnidarians. Now let's try to go and actually go deep into the characteristics of Cnidarians. So यहाँ पे next आता है about its body form. Body form यानी how they are going to be structurally visible in the nature. So body form has two ways, that is first is polyp और second होता है medusa. Polyp stage अगर है, that means it is going to be cylindrical in shape. It is going to be sessile यानी वो fixed होगा किसी एक bottom surface पे. It is either having solitary अकेली जिंदगी बिता रहा है या फिर colonial भी हो सकता है. An example wherein the polyp type of body form is found, that is hydra and adamsia. फिर मेड्यूसा स्टेज आता है. द मेड्यूसा स्टेज इज गोइंग टू बी हैविंग बेल और द अम्ब्रेला शेप्ड स्ट्रक्चर. इट इज गोइंग टू बी फ्री स्विमिंग. इट इज ऑलवेज सॉलिटरी. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू रिमेंबर, वो हमेशा अकेला रहेगा बिकॉज it is moving freely in water, so majority of the times it is seen alone. An example is going to be Aurelia, that is the name of jellyfish. So if some of you must have gone for scuba diving या कोई national geographic या कोई other TV channel पे, if you must have seen the under water life, then अगर jellyfish को देखा होगा, so most of the times the jellyfish is going to be seen individual. Jellyfish कैसे झुंड आया हुआ you will never see, because jellyfish are going to be solitary animals. वो अकेला रहना पसंद करते हैं. So that was about the polyp and the medusa stages. So polyp और medusa stage को if you want to see or experience how they would be, तो if you try to face your palm of your hand, अगर आप towards the ceiling face करते हो and you try to move your fingers, so how would it look? It would look like this. This is your palm and these are going to be your fingers. So this stage is nothing but going to be your polyp stage. Polyp stage है यानी ये नीचे से attached होगा and that is a bit kind of a cylindrical shape, and wherever your palm opens, here will be your opening of the body. अब मेड्यूसा स्टेज को अगर एक्सपीरियंस करना हो, then how would you understand? You just reverse your position of the hand. Now keep your palm facing towards the floor, और facing towards the floor करोगे तो fingers would move towards the floor. So what will that happen? It will become like this and here will be your fingers. So this is nothing but the medusa stage, that is nothing but your umbrella or bell shaped, जहाँ पे ये जो fingers होंगे, these fingers would nothing but represent tentacles. वो क्या represent करेंगे? It will represent the tentacles. So since it is free downwards, so here you can see the medusa stage. Medusa stage जो है उनके tentacles downwards है and here you are going to see the mouth. यहाँ पे उसका मुंह होगा. If you just reverse this medusa stage, what will happen? This same lining is going to come and attach onto the floor. Mouth जो यहाँ पे था, that is going to come over here, and the tentacles which were facing downwards in the medusa stage, they would come up into the air, and that would be nothing but the polyp stage. So medusa or polyp is nothing but just upside down image of that body form. Now let's understand about two important terms, that is polymorphism and metagenesis. अब polymorphism क्या होता है? That is the phenomenon wherein a single species occurs in two forms. So here we have seen that coelentrates are going to be the organisms which have their life, or they occur in two forms, any concept, in polyp stage as well as the medusa stage. So that is nothing but they occur in two phases. So example is going to be Obelia and Physalia. अब metagenesis क्या होता है? Metagenesis, that means alternation of generation. Alternation of generation, that means at one time the species is going to be in polyp stage, and after reproduction it will turn into medusa. Again वो medusa will develop, grow and form the polyp, and all this thing is going to repeat and repeat in the life cycle alternately. So alternately polyp and medusa will be formed throughout its life cycle. That is nothing but called as metagenesis. A metagenesis, if you want to see, you can see in the life cycle of Obelia. So if you come to the diagram of life cycle of Obelia, you see that the female medusa is going to be seen. Female medusa egg produce karega. Female medusa when produces egg, the male medusa will release its sperms. वो zygote form करेगा. Zygote will undergo 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage blastula forma. Then the free swimming planula larva. Planula larva had settled down. Once it settled down, that means it has undergone the sessile condition. वो fix हो गया एक जगह पे. Once it gets fixed, it is going to form the young polyp stage, developing polyp, and then finally a fully developed polyp is going to be formed. A fully developed polyp जो होगा, it would look like a tree somewhat. You can compare it to a tree, and this will shed its female or male medusa from it, just like a fruit will fall off. तो जैसे ट्री पे से फ्रूट फॉल होता है, that way from the developed polyp the free medusa stage would be released. So free medusa stage वापस जैसे release होगा, it might be the female or the male, and again the cycle will continue and continue. That is nothing but metagenesis of medusa or Obelia, sorry. So metagenesis, if you want to remember how this thing actually occurs, so here is a little handmade map. So polyp stage जो होती है, which is going to be cylindrical and it is sessile, that is it is fixed to a substratum. When it undergoes a sexual method of reproduction or undergoes budding, so asexual mode of reproduction generally they undergo budding. So asexual reproduction जब भी होगा, it will form medusa stage, और medusa में जब भी sexual reproduction होगा, that means when the gametes are going to fuse, it is going to form the polyp stage. So if you want to remember about how the conversion occurs, that is from polyp to medusa, how does it go, and medusa to polyp, how does it go, then you can just remember a very simple easy trick. The trick is going to be over here at the top of this particular video. So trick क्या याद रखनी है, that is prime minister at MP state, यानी प्राइम मिनिस्टर मध्य प्रदेश गए. So what is this? This is going to be divided into two phases. This is the phase 1 and the later half is going to be the stage 2. So this is stage 2. So first one, PM at. So the P is going to represent for polyp, M is for medusa, and A is for asexual reproduction. So polyp to medusa stage जो conversion होगा, that would be because of asexual reproduction. And if you go to medusa to polyp, तो वो होगा with the help of sexual reproduction. So trick क्या है? PM at MP state. That is nothing but the trick to remember the metagenesis in the coelentrates. So I hope now you won't forget about the conversion of polyp to medusa stage, that is alternation of generation. Moving ahead with walls of body. So body walls जो होते हैं, there are going to be two body walls. First of all the epidermis and the gastrodermis. कौन से दो walls होंगे? The first layer, that is epidermis, and the second layer, that is going to be gastrodermis. Now epidermis is going to be the outer layer or the outer formed body wall, and since it is outer layer, it is going to be formed from which germ layer? It will be formed from the ectoderm. outer है, so ectoderm से form होगा. If it is going to be the gastrodermis, that is going to be the inner layer, and this inner layer is going to be formed because of endoderm. सो जैसे सीलेंट्रेट्स के पास सिर्फ दो जर्म लेयर्स होते हैं, दैट इज एक्टोडर्म एंड एंडोडर्म. सो दीज आर गोइंग टू डेवलप एंड फॉर्म द एपिडर्मिस एंड गैस्ट्रोडर्मिस. अब एपिडर्मिस और गैस्ट्रोडर्मिस में बहुत सारे डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ सेल्स होते हैं, एंड सम सेल्स कैन ऑल्सो बी कॉमन टू देम एज अ कनेक्टिंग वे, wherein epidermis और gastrodermis दोनों में ये cells मिलते हैं. So the cells which are going to be specific for that particular layer will be mentioned in below the names of those layers, और जो common है उनको हमने center में लिख दिया, so that these are going to be common for both layers, that is epidermis and gastrodermis. So let's first see which are the cells which are specifically found in the epidermis. So epidermis में जो मिलता है that is epitheliomuscular cells. Now, epitheliomuscular cells are going to have two parts. जो outer part होगा that is going to be made for the protection part, क्योंकि it is going to face the environment. सो एनवायरमेंट को फेस करेगा, सो इट इज़ फॉर द प्रोटेक्शन. एंड यही सेल्स का जो इनर पार्ट होगा दैट इज़ फॉर द कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. नाउ कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस जो हो रहे हैं दिस इज गोइंग टू बी बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रोटीन दैट इज फिब्रिल मायोमिन. नाउ फिब्रिल मायोमिन की वजह से लाइक मसल्स हैव प्रोटीन्स, लाइकवाइज ये सेल के पास भी प्रोटीन्स होगा विच विल हेल्प फॉर कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. Second type of cells found only in epidermis, that is glandomuscular cells. So glandomuscular cells जो होते हैं they will be found at the pedal disc. Now where is this pedal disc? Pedal disc will be found at the base of the coelentrates. Now these glandomuscular cells, that means glando is related to glands. So glands क्या करते हैं? Glands are going to secrete some material. So these cells help in the secretion of sticky material for attachment. That means it is going to act like a glue. So super glue, फेविक्विक का मजबूत जोड़, that is nothing but going to be secreted by the glandomuscular cells. Now third type, that is germ cells. Now these germ cells are nothing but the cells which are going to form gonads, and these gonads are going to further form the gametes which are required to fuse. So that is going to be formed because of germ cells. The last specific for epidermis, that is nidoblasts. These nidoblasts are going to be also called as stinging cells. So this is going to be the other name of nidoblast, that is stinging cells. It is going to be found in tentacles, सिर्फ tentacles में मिलेंगे, and these nidoblasts are going to be the organ of offense. Offense, that means for attacking purpose. So अगर उन्हें hunting के लिए जाना है for food purposes, so they will attack the prey. So when they attack the prey, that is going to be offensive. Or if some other animal comes and tries to eat that particular organism, तो उनके बचाव के लिए, that is for their defense, they are going to use nidoblast. So also for attack as well as for protection, for both purposes they will use nidoblast as per the conditions. So these were the four cells which are going to be found only in epidermis. अब epidermis में और भी cells होते हैं, three types which are going to be common for both the layers. So now let's see about the common cells which are found in both of the layers. So next, that is interstitial cells. Interstitial cells जो होते हैं, these are the totipotent cells. So in last videos we have seen totipotent का meaning क्या होता है. These are going to be the undifferentiated cells. So these undifferentiated cells are going to form all the other types of cells if needed. So these are the undifferentiated totipotent cells. So if you remember about the Porifera, so Poriferans में भी हमने एक ऐसा सेल देखा था which was undifferentiated and it had the capacity to have totipotency. So if you remember, so this is going to be your question, that is which cell in Porifera, let me write it down over here, that is which cell in Porifera was having the totipotency. So If you know this answers and if you remember about it, then do let me know in the chat box down below. So answers are going to be down in the comment section. So don't forget to write and do interact with us, so that we also know that you are interested and you love studying with us. So let me know down in the comment section your answers कि ऐसे कौन से cells porifera में थे which were having the totipotency. So here the spelling went wrong, no worries, let us write it down again. Totipotency. So totipotency, which cells had? So do let me know in the comment section. But for now, in the Cnidarians, totipotent cell कौन से है? These are the interstitial cells. Then are the nerve cells. These nerve cells are going to be first found in this phylum, and these are going to conduct impulses in all directions. So nerve cells जो होते हैं, they will be allowed to conduct impulses. Then there are sensory cells which are going to receive and transmit impulses. So as we have sense organs, as we are developed much more, the initial starting had been done from the Cnidarian. So sensory, first time sensation of light or of some organism coming near them, all that was seen because of the sensory cells. फिर आता है the inner layer which is formed from the endoderm, that is gastrodermis. Now the gastrodermis has a cell which is called as endothelial cells. So these are going to be the nutritive muscle cells. Nutritive है, that means they will provide nutrition, and muscular है, that means it will help in the contraction of the inner body surface. Second type of cells मिलते हैं, that is endothelial gland cells. So gland है यानी वो secretion करेंगे, and what sort of secretion? That is the digestive enzymes. So whatever the animal has captured the prey, वो प्रे को खाने के लिए to digest that into absorbable nutrients, the digestive juices or the enzymes are going to be secreted from this cells, that is endothelial gland cells. It will also secrete mucus, that is from the mucus cells, और generally ये mucus cells कहाँ होंगे? It will be in the hypostome and the mouth region. Now gland cells will be absent in tentacles and basal disc. So it is very common sense to understand, क्योंकि tentacles में क्या होता है? Tentacles में होते हैं Nidoplast, which are for offense and defense. So it is just for capturing the prey. So वहाँ पे gland cells होने का कोई use नहीं है. Even at the basal disc, wherein there were the Glandomuscular cells for secretion of the sticky material, so that the organism can stick to the base. So वो attachment की जगह पे भी you do not need the mucus secreting gland cells. So these two places, that is tentacles and basal disc, is not going to have these mucus secreting gland cells. So with this we complete the explanation about the body wall of these organisms. Now let's see about the specific processes कि ये सारे जो physiological activities है, how were they developed in these Cnidarians. So digestion के अगर viewpoint से देखें, so these had their blind gastrovascular cavity because they had their body organization which was a blind sac. Blind sac है, that means they had the opening that is acting as the mouth as well as the anus. So anus and mouth both will be acted by the same opening. So that is a blind vascular cavity, and there will be a outer opening that is called as hypostome. So वो जो एक opening है, that one single opening which is acting as both mouth and the anus, that is nothing but called as the hypostome, which is the single opening. Now digestion, once the prey has been captured and entered into the gastrovascular cavity में आने के बाद, first of all the organism which has been captured, उसके ऊपर बहुत सारे digestive juices release किए जाएंगे, and once inside the cavity the digestive juices have been started to act, that means it is going to be the extracellular digestion. And once these are broken down into smaller pieces so that the cells can absorb it, in that condition the intracellular digestion will start. Intracellular, that means inside the cell in form of food vacuoles. So food vacuoles के अंदर जब ये सारे छोटे छोटे fragments of engulfed food जब collect किए जाएंगे, and again the digestive enzymes will be released inside the food vacuoles, that would be the intracellular digestion. So again, for comparison, जो digestion in Porifera था, how was the digestion in Porifera? It was only intracellular in Porifera, but now we have seen that there is an introduction of extracellular digestion as well. So if you remember, again a question that can be asked you for writing down in the comments section. So do let me know in comments section as well कि what sort of digestion do humans have. So humans have digestion which is going to be extracellular or it is going to be intracellular. So with this understanding कि वो सेल के अंदर से जाके फूड वैक्यूल्स में डाइजेस्ट हो रहा है या if it is outside in the cavity. So based on that, if you have studied and if you can apply, then do let me know in the comment section about this particular answer, that whether humans have extracellular or intracellular type of digestion. Now moving for the respiration. Respiration में क्या होगा? It will be just the simple diffusion, because still there are no organs that are formed specifically for respiration. So cells जो भी है वो diffusion through the concentration gradient, that is from high concentration to low concentration levels, the diffusion will occur, and from that the respiration, that is oxygen coming in into the cells and carbon dioxide released out of the cells, is going to occur. Circulatory system is not yet formed in any of the phylum, that is Porifera में भी नहीं है, Coelentrates में भी नहीं है, but circulation can still go on because of the gastrointestinal cavity. सो गैस्ट्रोवास्कुलर कैविटी जो होती है, उसकी कैविटी में जो मूवमेंट होगा, दैट मूवमेंट कैन हेल्प द सर्कुलेशन ऑफ दोज organisms. So if you remember about poriferans में भी circulatory system नहीं था, but still circulation could occur because of the water vascular system. So just like here gastrovascular cavity की वजह से it can be possible for a bit of circulation, but ऐसी कोई specific circulatory system present नहीं होगी. Then about secretion, main waste, since they are aquatic organisms and they can afford to have a lot of water to excrete the most toxic waste, that is ammonia. So most toxic waste कौन सा होता है? It is the ammonia, and it requires most amount of water to get rid of it. So ammonia is the main waste that these organisms are going to excrete. And again excretory system ऐसे kidneys, ureters, bladders ऐसे तो कुछ नहीं होगा उनके पास. They will directly excrete out with the help of diffusion, that is again nothing but the concentration gradient. So since the body has more amount of ammonia, वो ammonia body से बाहर जाएगी through diffusion. So this was about the processes. अब next processes देखते हैं. So here we see about the skeleton. So skeleton of Cnidarians, that is the corals, they will have a hard skeleton made up of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate की वजह से Cnidarians, कुछ Cnidarians, again you should remember it is some. So some Cnidarians which will have the calcium carbonate covering or skeleton, उनको हम corals बोलेंगे. So you must have seen on, at least on TV, about the various beautiful colored underwater creatures. So underwater में जो different colors में दिखते हैं, yellow, pink, blue, green, all that colors that you see are majorly the corals. So the hard porous substances, they can be either sponges, or in sometimes if they are hard, then they would be corals. So वो जो नहीं हिलने वाले, that you feel like they are rocks, but now you have studied वो rocks नहीं है, these are going to be the animals which are not always motile. So if you get chance to go for scuba diving, then you can of course go and see those organisms which do not move. So these are the animals which generally do not move. Then for the nervous system जो है which is going to develop for the first time nervous system आने की कोशिश हो रही है, and that evolution is going to have the non-polar neurons for the first time seen in diffused pattern. उनको कोई ऐसे specific जगह पे system बना के नहीं रखा है, they are just diffused and present all over the body in a form of a nerve net. So you can see here in the diagram how the entire body of Hydra is going to have the network of these non-polar neurons. So this just looks like a fish net. So this fishnet like structure is going to be nothing but the nerve net, that is the diffused pattern of non-polar neurons. So for the first time कहाँ पे neurons दिखे थे in animals? It was the phylum Coelenterata. Then for reproduction, the sexes are going to be separated or they can be united. If it is united, then it is going to be dioecious or it can be unisexual. If they if they are united, then that means it is going to be bisexual or hermaphrodite or monoecious. If it is separated यानी मेल फीमेल अलग अलग bodies में है, then it is dioecious or unisexual. So not to get confused as I got here, but this is going to help you and you can remember it as united. So this is nothing but beam. So Chota Bheem cartoon you must have seen if you have small kids at your home, your brothers and sisters. So Chota Bheem जो है, so Bheem is going to be united with its friends. So Bheem is going to be united and DU University. So Delhi University जो है, Delhi University में if you want to go, you need to get separated from your parents. So that is nothing but separated sexes. So DU Delhi University, you need to get separated from your house, from your home, your loved ones, and the Bheem, Chota Bheem is going to be united with his friends. So in this way you can remember about the names, that is dioecious, unisexual, hermaphrodites, all those can be remembered, so you do not get confused when the question asks you in the different terms. So this was the little trick that I told you about Chota Bheem and his friends and the Delhi University. Then is going to be the topic about asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction is going to occur in polyp, or sexual reproduction किसमें होगा? In the medusa. So again this can be remembered with the another trick that I told you in the start of the video, that was PM at MP state. So Prime Minister at Madhya Pradesh state, that was the trick to remember about the which type of reproduction occurs in which body form. अब reproduction जो है वो gametes form होंगे. So the fertilization can be either internal यानी female body के अंदर होगा, या फिर it can be in external water conditions. Now once the fertilization has occurred, the zygote has been formed. Now the development needs to occur to form the new individual. So new individual के लिए there can be direct development, यानी direct development है, that means the what do you say, the organism or the new young one is almost going to be similar to the parent body. So उनका सिर्फ size छोटा होगा, but otherwise all the looks are going to be the same. But if you compare to the indirect development, in indirect development there is going to be larva formation, and this larva is going to be completely different in its structure, and sometimes जो parent body है it is going to be fixed, but in larvas they would be free swimming. So this is the case in the Cnidarians कि जो उनकी parent body है it is going to be sessile, that is it is fixed at the substratum, और उनका जो larva है, that is the indirect development, it is going to be free swimming. So larvas of Aurelia, that is your jellyfish. So this jellyfish is going to have its larva which is called as Ephyra, and Obelia is going to have its larva, that is Planula. So these are the two larvae which are very important for you to remember. MCQs पूछे जा सकते हैं about Planula and Ephyra, which of these are going to be the you can say larvae of which phylum. So you must have also seen the names of larvae in the Porifera phylum. So Porifera phylum के larvae होंगे, larvae of Coelentratas. In further phylums also you might come across many more larvae. So you must make a little table wherein you will mention all the larvas. So table of larva is going to be formed by you just as a homework, and you can convert this table and stick it onto the walls. So आते जाते जब भी आपको ये larvas दिखेंगे, you will remember it by heart. Then coming for the regeneration, so regeneration Poriferas में भी बहुत अच्छे से था. Similarly in coelentrates also you are going to have a very good capacity of regeneration. Now about the Nidoplast. So Nidoblast, other names जो हमने पढ़े थे, that was the stinging cells or the nematoblasts. So these are going to be very important cells as looked after the Nidarians or the coelentrates. So जैसे हमने Nidarians बोला है, so Nidarians are nothing but it is the name because of these cells. So Nidoblast जो cell है उनके presence की वजह से there is the name of this phylum, that is Nidaria, or the organisms are called as Nidarians. Then these Nidoblasts are going to have a special structure within them that is called as Pneumatocyst. Now this Pneumatocyst along with its capsule will be called as Nidoblast. अब capsule जो होता है, it is going to be filled with a toxic substance. It is going to be filled with a toxic substance, and this toxic substance is nothing but the hypnotoxin. This hypnotoxin is going to help in, you can say, poisoning the prey. So उसको जो animal को पकड़ के मारना है for eating purposes, so in that case this hypnotoxin is going to be released into the body of the captured organism, and it is going to cause neurological damage to the other organism. So this Nidoblast जिनके पास nematocysts होते हैं, these nematocysts can be used for the purpose of anchorage. यानी अगर उसको कोई substance पे या किसी rock पे attach होना है, for that attachment it can use its hook-like structure. So जो nematocysts होते हैं, these are nothing but a kind of a hook structure. So वो ऐसे, you must have seen anchor of the ship. So anchor of ship जो होता है, so anchor of ship, when the ship comes near the dock, when it has to stop at some particular port, so उस टाइम पे वो जो sailor होता है, what does he do? He is going to place that anchor, and this anchor is going to prevent the ship going back into the water. So वो जो anchor होता है, this is going to be the function of those nematocysts. So similarly it can be used as an anchor. It can be used for defense, that means अगर कोई और organism उसके पास आ रहा है और if it's trying to hurt the Nidarian, then it is going to attack with the help of offense. So defense भी हो सकता है, offense भी हो सकता है, also it can be used as a anchor. Now how does these Nidoblasts actually work for these functions? So जो functions हमने ऊपर देखे, the three functions, how are they going to be served? So जो nematoblasts होते हैं, these are going to be stimulated. First of all, किसी भी reaction के लिए there must be some stimulation. So once they are stimulated, they are going to have a thread-like tube. वो जो thread-like tube है, it is going to discharge. That means उसको coil करके वो cell के अंदर रखा जाता है. So if you see over here in the diagram, the first diagram is going to be the unopened, or you can say unstimulated cell. So it is not stimulated, and when it is not stimulated, उसका जो thread like tube है वो कैसे है? It is going to be coiled inside the cavity. So वो coiled structure जब stimulation आएगा, it is going to discharge and it will come out with a force, and when it comes out in a force, it is going to be exploded. So that explosion is going to you can say वो अपना जो Nidoblast है उसको वो expose करेगा, and this teeth like structure is going to be released. अब ये teeth like structure जो है वो किसी organism में या किसी substance पे जाके अटक जाएगा, and because of that reason, and the hypnotoxin which is the toxic substance, because of that reason it is going to function as an anchor, defense purpose, or for the offense purpose. So a very important point to remember about these is that कि जब भी ये stimulation आने के बाद the thread like substance that comes out with the nematocyst, it cannot be withdrawn back. एक बार stimulation आ गया, वो जो thread like structure है उसको फिर गोल गोल लपेट के cavity के अंदर बिठाया नहीं जा सकता है. Once the stimulation has come, the tube has been discharged, it cannot come back, and once it cannot come back, वो जो cell है, वो जो explosion power है, it has been wasted and the cell cannot be used again. And once the cell cannot be used again, उसको वहाँ से macrophages आके उसको destroy करके they are going to be digested. And once the cells are digested, वो place खाली रह जाएगी, so it will be replaced by the fresh ones, and these fresh ones are going to come from the interstitial cells. So these are the interstitial cells which were the totipotent cells. So हमने पढ़ा था about interstitial cells which were found in the outer layer which was found by the ectoderm. So ये जो totipotent cells है which are undifferentiated, these are going to differentiate to form the Nidoblast so that they can replace the discharged cells. So this was a very important topic because उनका जो नाम है, उनकी जो पहचान है, वो पहचान किसकी वजह से है? Because of these cells, that is Nidoblasts. Now let's discuss about the classes of Coelenterata. So Coelenterata में there are going to be three classes. First one that is Hydrozoa, second is Kyphozoa, and third is the Anthozoa. अब ये जो three classes है, they are going to have different examples. So first example of Hydrozoa, that is Hydra. और Hydra के लिए description अगर आपको देना है, what is it going to be? It is going to be the freshwater polyp. So हमने स्टार्टिंग में जो हैबिटेट पढ़ा था उसमें हमने देखा था that most of the coelentrates are going to be marine living, but few of them can be fresh water. So fresh water का example क्या होगा वहाँ पे लिखने के लिए? It is going to be Hydra, which comes under the class of Hydrozoa. Now about second example, that is Obelia. Obelia के लिए other name होता है that you need to remember for MCQs, that is sea fur. What is the other name? It is sea fur. So instead of having the option as Obelia, you can see the option as sea fur. So अगर sea fur का option दिखता है, that means the examiner is trying to give you the hint of Obelia. Last example of Hydrozoa, that is Physalia. Physalia is going to be called as the Portuguese man of war. What is it going to be? Portuguese man of war. So this is going to be a very important MCQ because most of the time it is asked as who is the Portuguese man of war. Then it is going to be nothing but Physalia. Who is sea fur? It is Obelia. और fresh water coelenterate कौन सा है? It is Hydra. Now moving to the second class, that is Scyphozoa. Scyphozoa में एक example आता है, that is Aurelia, and Aurelia is going to be the name for jellyfish. So jellyfish is nothing but Aurelia, and if the female students, they might know that Aurelia is also going to be a brand जिसमें दिशा पटानी brand ambassador है. So in ways in that you can also remember कि दिशा पटानी कौन से brand के लिए ambassador है. She is the ambassador for the brand jellyfish, that is nothing but Aurelia. So that in way you can also remember in a fun way कि Aurelia is nothing but jellyfish. Third class of coelentrates, that is Anthozoa. उसमें there are 6 examples that you need to remember and their other names or some description. So first moving, that is Gorgonia. This Gorgonia is going to be called as the sea fan. Sea fan is nothing but the other name of Gorgonia. So sea fur कौन है? Sea fur is going to be Obelia. Gorgonia कौन है? It is the sea fan. So if you can see the photograph, it looks like a fan. So it is very thin and it has mesh work, and that is going to be the other name, that is sea fan. Second example है Meandrinum. Meandrinum is going to be called as a sea anemone. What is it called? It will be called sea anemone. So the other names are very important with the point of MCQs. Then you will be asked about example Pennatula. Pennatula जैसे नाम से if you can try to identify, it will be called as sea pen. What is it called? It will be called as sea pen, or you can also call it sea feather. Sea pen because Pennatula, it looks like a pen. So previously in olden days उनका जो pen था, how we used to write, they used to write with the feather dipped into the ink pot. So वो ink pot होता था, ink pot के अंदर they used to dip that feather, and that feather used to be used for writing purposes. So that is nothing but the sea pen or sea feather, that is Pennatula. Then the fourth example, that is Corianum. This is going to be having the other name, that is red coral. What is it called as? It is called as red coral. So you can see in the photograph also it is going to be red in color, and it is coral because it will have the covering or skeleton of calcium carbonate. So calcium carbonate होने की वजह से it is going to be hard in nature, and because of hard skeleton it will be called as coral. So red coral is going to be the other name. Then about Meandrina. Meandrina और Metridium में confuse नहीं होना है. It is the Meandrina which is going to look like the brain. So brain, it looks like brain, so you can see in the photograph. So it will be called as brain coral. What is it called as? Brain coral. So other names very important again to remember. And lastly, that is Adamsia, which is also going to be the example of Anthozoa. So यहाँ पे हमने सबका description या other names cover कर लिए हैं, and all these are nothing but examples of coelentrates as well. So हमने उसको classes में भी divide कर लिया, and all the way we have also seen the examples of Nidarians. So in one slide only we have tried to cover both of the things. So अगर Nidarians के example पूछे, then also you can refer this slide, or even asked for classes, you can refer this slide. Moving ahead over here, we are going to try to check our understanding. So हमने सारा जो theory part था about the characteristics, about the classes, examples, हमने सब cover कर लिया. Now it's time to test your understanding. आपने कितना समझा है and how much you could remember. So these are the 5 questions that you need to answer, along with the 2 questions that we had done in the ingoing discussion. So ingoing discussion and these 5 question के answers, you can go and share it with us and all your other students in the comment section, and I hope that this would help you to revise and understand what all we did in the discussion. So if you like our efforts to help you understand these topics in a bit more easier form, उनको visualize करने में with the help of photographs and the questions that we provide you so you can revise and test your understanding, then don't forget to stay connected to Biophilia and try to show some love by like, share and subscribe, and do hit the bell icon so you get notified for all the upcoming parts of these or the other chapters. We will come back soon with the next part of this chapter. Till then, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Keep studying, keep smiling hard, and we will meet back soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye everyone. Thank you.